Hello and welcome to day 129 in this quest for a 2000 rapid chess rating on chess.com. All right, we have the white pieces. We're playing against a 1612. Let's try to set up this Jabava London if we can. All right, here we go. We're attacking. They defend and we have it. The Jabava London with bishop to f4. So we're aiming at the c7 pawn here. They can attack immediately here. They could play a6 or c6 to keep my knight from being able to jump forward here. All right, so they're putting pressure on this. So we want to go here, back this pawn up, and let's see what they decide to do next. All right, so our options are, to bring our bishop up here, but they could move forward and possibly attack us. So we may want to bring our knight up here. We have to see what they are planning. Let's see. A lot of what we do will be determined, by what they do next. All right, so they're trying to keep us out of this square. Let's see here. Let's see. Now, should we go ahead and capture this? That is a possibility. Just go ahead and capture here. All right, so we'll go ahead and capture. Now they'll probably play this. E6 to be able to recapture here. All right, so they don't do that. They bring this knight forward, threatening to push this pawn and chase my bishop. So what should we try next? All right. Well, we could develop our knight here, but then they could pin us. So that's a possibility. All right. Thinking we just develop that knight. That keeps this pawn here from being able to jump forward and chase our bishop. Okay, and of course they go with the pin here. All right. So what should we try next? Well, do we want to go ahead and block with our bishop? That way if they capture, we capture. All right. All right, we'll just go ahead and block that, break this pin on our knight, and see how they respond next. They could capture. Then if we recapture with the bishop, they could push forward here with these pawns. Okay, so, would it be better to capture with this? I don't know if we want to do that, so we'll just capture with our bishop here. capturing with the bishop. Now they're probably going to jump forward here, attacking us. We do have pressure here on this, so that's a possibility. We could jump forward. But I'm thinking they're going to push forward here, attacking our bishop. Then we have to retreat. They could keep pushing forward, attacking our other bishop. Or maybe if they push forward, we could go here and pin this knight. Go after that knight, possibly. But I'm thinking that they're going to push that e-pawn. The only issue might be they might be worried about me pinning their knight, but then they could break the pin. Then do we capture? Okay, so they do that instead. They just fortify. All right. Well. We probably should just go ahead and castle. All right, here's the options. We go ahead and castle here. I don't know if I should be dropping my knight back. I probably need to castle. I mean, also, should we go here? Give our bishop an escape route? I'm thinking we just castle here. All right, so the bishop takes the pawn, lines up on our king. Maybe we go here, threatening to attack that bishop. Or do we move our knight? But then the bishop could just retreat back, and then that knight's stuck on the edge of the board. So I don't know if that is such a great move. All right, I'm thinking we just drop, make an escape hatch for our bishop, perhaps. So escape hatch for the bishop to retreat back here. Now, a likely possibility is pushing this forward, attacking, push the pawn forward. If we capture, their knight can jump in here and harass our bishop. So perhaps we want to drop back with our knight to here. Oh, but then that could leave, our bishop could be trapped here. If we go here and attack, the bishop could just retreat. Man, we probably need to push this pawn forward here. So I don't know if I want to do this. Well, I don't know. Maybe we need to move here. Move our queen up to d2. Then, if they capture, sorry, if they push the pawn to d4, we capture the pawn, the knight jumps in attacking our bishop. If our queen is on d2, we could drop back to here. But I think these pawns are going to be a problem. These pawns are going to be a problem. And I don't know if I want to put my queen here on this open, well, on d2 where it's unprotected, because if they chase this bishop back and then we exchange here and the knight ends up here, there could be this threat of a check on my king, and then the queen could be exposed to capture by their queen. So that could be dangerous. Let's see. Should we go ahead and pin this knight? Is that an option? Pinning the knight. All right, yeah, now I'm just burning way too much time. Okay, we got to figure something out quick here. All right, develop the queen on the E file maybe? No, that could lead to an attack, forking these pieces. So if the knight jumps here, then this bishop, we could have an attack coming down through here. All right. Do I drop this back? Drop the knight back to here. But then we saw that this possibility could happen. Attacking the bishop, then this gets attacked. All right, let's just drop back immediately. Yeah, we wasted way too much time. 5 minutes on that. That's going to cost me. I should not have taken that long to choose a move there. Okay. All right, I guess we're dropping back. Get ready to push this forward. Now they could, okay, they can't go here because of this. So that'll give us time maybe to push this, to come here. Put our bishop in a fianchettoed position, although this bishop will be blocked, which is not so great. All right. Well, if he pushes, we could give up this bishop, taking the knight, giving up our bishop pair. I did burn up way too much time, though. Okay, we need to improve our pieces. How can we do that? All right, well, at least they're thinking for a while here. So, what could they be thinking about? Well, maybe they're trying to decide whether to push this pawn and grab the ideal pawn center here. That is an option. If they do that, we probably want to push up here to c3. And help fortify. Maybe they'll just push here immediately. If they do that, we capture, their knight jumps in. So at least they're really thinking here, trying to figure out how to press forward. They could just try and jump their knight in here. Then I would probably have to capture. We could trade off queens. All right. So lining up on my bishop. All right, all right. Well, if we do that, that would help pull their queen in. We probably need to do that. Our options are to block. All right, so we don't have much time. Let's just go ahead and do that. Now we can play c3 to try and keep pieces out of the position. And now maybe I need to jump my knight. All right, we don't have much time to think, so we'll go with that. Okay, so an attack here. Go ahead and do that. And I don't know, it looks like we're just starting to trade down a lot of material, but man, I'm running so low on time. I have to keep moving here. I don't really have as many options. If they wanted to keep the game complicated, they could just drop back here to g6. And then they could threaten to push forward here. Then I guess I could go here. And bring my knight to here. One issue is going to be his strong central pawns here. All right. I mean, he could just capture. If he captures, then what? We recapture here. If his knight jumps forward, we could jump down and attack that knight. Although he could push forward here and have a strong pawn center. You know, so that could be an issue. And now I'm down to 5 minutes and 28 seconds. At least they're burning some time as well, down to 8.5 here. So, if I was my opponent, I don't know, maybe I'd go, I mean, if he's lower rated, I would probably just go after this pawn. And then I capture. Then we have to figure out what to do with our rooks. We don't have our rooks mobilized. So right now I only have 2 pieces developed. You know, and they have 3, 4 because this rook's on a open or a half open file. So they're ahead here. Now, one thing to think about is, do I go with a queen capture? I don't know if that would be as good. A queen capture. You know, if they capture my bishop, I capture with the queen. If they attack here, do I go here and pin that? No, because, well, they could attack my queen with a knight jump to the center. So I probably need to capture with the knight here. So capture with the knight if they capture my bishop. So they're thinking a lot here. Maybe they're thinking about dropping this knight back to here. You know, then if I capture, they could pull a pawn towards the center. Of course, it would weaken this pawn, but they would have an open line of attack on my B pawn. So, I don't know. They're really burning a lot of time here, which that's fine with me now. But if they capture here, I'm just going to... Okay, so they decide to move forward. Interesting. Now, the threat. Okay, so they're threatening to attack this. So I have to cover this. Do I attack the knight right away? Forcing this knight back. Okay, well, the problem is, you know, I can't go here. The queen or this knight can threaten to jump in here. If I go here, the rook will be lined up on me. So, you know, maybe it would be best to just go here. So we'll just do that. Rook to B1. Man, we did burn up a lot of time. Over a minute on that one. Okay, I got to move faster here because this is going to turn into an ugly time scramble at the end if I'm not careful. All right. Probably need to get my queen up here. But now the problem will be that he'll probably attack. If he attacks with this pawn, I could go up here and attack his queen, then jump in here. That way the knight doesn't want to, well, the knight can't move forward. We're pinning this queen, so we go here. Okay, if they attack us on e5, all right, well, that is interesting. Okay. All right, what do we need to do next? Just put our rook here, I believe. Get ready to help push this forward, perhaps. All right, and at least we have this rook off of the F square in case the knight, tries to jump here in the future. All right, and there we go, the attack. All right, so we could attack the queen. Do we go here? Does that really do much? I'm thinking we have to go here. Target this knight by jumping back to here. Although, if we go there, there could be an attack. All right. Really burning time. Do we go here? Attack that queen. All right, let's do it. We don't have time to think. We're going to attack. All right. Now we're going to what? Go here? No, we have to drop back. We're under attack. So do we just push forward? No, we'll go there. Down to 255. They have 440. All right, we have to keep moving. So what will they try and do? Maybe break things open here? Well, if they do that, we capture. They can't capture here, or we, go after their queen. So, what are our options? This game, there's still a lot going on, and it's getting down to the end. And we're running out of time, so it may end up being an ugly time scramble. All right, so we have to think about what they may try to do. They could just, would they push forward here? Just chasing my, they could go here with the knight. All right, so no, they go that way. Now, do we want to go here? Knight will take us, queen can take, something like that. Probably need to drop back. So we'll drop back, attack the knight. All right, well, our time is even. Now they have less time than I do. So what should they try and do here? If they try and push this pawn, we could just go here. He'll probably, maybe he'll bring his queen over here and add pressure to this. If that is played, what can we do? We could block the queen. We could just go after the knight. No, but then the rook could get into the position. So, all right. What next? What next? All right. I need to move here. Go after. No, we probably have to go here. I overlooked that move. Well, that sucks. Crap. Crap, crap, crap. All right, is there a way to get out of this? All right, I don't have time to think about it. I'm just going to have to do it. Okay. There's an attack threatening there. We have to go there. We don't have much time. Need to be careful. Need to activate this bishop. Man. Need to activate this rook. So, maybe I put the rook here. Well, that's what happens in these time scrambles. Man, I overlooked a simple tactic. All right, so at least their time is running pretty low here. If he might try and figure out how to get his knight. The knight will probably go here. If he does that, I could go there and pin the knight with my bishop. So if he jumps his knight up here, I should go. Okay, so that is interesting. All right. Well, capture towards the center, I guess, would be the best thing to do. Now his knight can go there. Now his knight can go right there. Okay. Well, we go here. attacking and defending this pawn. Okay. Now we have to attack that way. I need to attack this queen as well. All right. Attack the queen. Get rid of that threat immediately. All right. Well, now we can chase that guy. Ah, I can't believe I did that. All right. Well, we'll at least get rid of this knight. All right. Well, guess we're going off that way. All right. We'll go there. Go here to protect. What now? What now? Okay, we'll go there. Try and start trading out some of this material. I let the time get me again. Okay. Well, what now? We've blocked that off. Now we can move our king over to the other side with that. All right, now I can go with, well, I have to go there. Pretty much have to go there. Man. I really put myself in a bad position here. A bad position. You know, he could just push this forward. And then, I don't know, that would give me some passed pawns. All right, now I pretty much have to do that. All right. Do I go there? Attacking the king. Then I can go here, attacking the king again. Move there. All right, now this is the tricky part. What do I do next here? If they push forward, I can capture. Do I go here? But then he could push forward there. So if I go here and he pushes forward and I capture, all right. If they attack here, I can move forward. All right, so that works. Huh. Okay. Crap. If I go here, he's going to have 3. Oh, great. If I go there, he could push forward. I could go here, getting ready to block him. But can I stop him? What if he takes? If I go here and he takes and I have to go here, he could go there. Great. I think that's lost now. So if I go here, he's just going to infiltrate into the position. If I go here and he takes and I go here. So if I go here, he takes, I go here. He can stop that. He'll be in the square of the pawn. My one chance is that if his king tries to come down into the position too far, that I can push forward and promote a queen. But I don't know, now he's thinking, so now at least he's really thinking about, okay, so I have to go here. If I push forward, do I push this way? I'll go like that. Forcing him to capture. Then I start running forward to get a queen. And he'll have to move back, and then I can get a queen with a check maybe. They ran out of time. Whoa. So that was crazy. So that just goes to show that if you hang in there, sometimes you can pull out a win. So we'll take a look at this in the game review and analysis and see if, what would have happened here after, let's say they capture, I push forward, they move out of the way, I push forward again, their pawn moves. Then, I don't know. There's just a lot going on here. All right, let's take a look at the game review, and we'll look at that at the end and see what could have happened. All right, it is showing that it looks like I was winning there at the end, and the game was just a draw for a while. So I went from a dead lost position. Man, I was just pretty much losing for the second half, well, the middle part of this game, the middle third of the game maybe. I just hung in there until the game was a draw and then a loss here. All right, so if you can see all this, I played at an 85.8% accuracy versus their 82.9. We both had 3 great moves. Let's see, I had 22 of the best moves. They had 23. I had 11 excellent moves. They had 10. So a pretty even game here all the way down through here. So they had 4 inaccuracies, or excuse me, we both had 4 inaccuracies. I had 4 mistakes though, and they only had 2. They had 1 missed opportunity, and we both had a blunder. And then if you can't see below my image, it says that the game rating for this was that I played at a 2100 level. They played at a 2000 level. And then our opening, I had a 97.8% accuracy rating. They had 96.9. And then in the middle game, I played at 85.5 versus their 86.3. And for the end game, 82.6 in the end game. So I could have played that. Well, I don't know. Anything in the 80s is not bad. And then they had a 77% end game accuracy. All right, let's start this quick game review. It'll kind of blast through the moves and point out the highlights. So we did have the Jabava London. We're all in a book opening moves here. But I don't know. I think I misplayed the Jabava London in the middle game. I'm still learning this opening, all the details of it. I need to just keep studying it. All right, so this was a great move, they say. You just fortify the pawn, open up your bishop to capture this pawn. All right, so capture. And then it's just kind of blasting through these moves. All right, so it looks like it would have been better to just go ahead and centralize my queen here, attacking his queen. Yeah, that would have avoided that little tactical trick, capturing here, and then giving up. Yeah, that put me in a bind here. So anyway, that's something we'll look at in the game review. See, and then this little tactic, and it looks like I should not have. When you make a mistake, you should stop, take your time, although I didn't have enough time to really do that, and then reassess the game, because you're more likely to make a follow-up mistake because you make the bad mistake and then it's really terrible and you're frustrated, and then if you're not careful, you're likely to follow it up with another mistake like this. So we'll take a look at that definitely in the game review. All right, so now they had a blunder here. All right, so we should have captured the other way apparently. All right, and then here I should have taken this immediately. All right, so yeah, I just had quite a few mistakes there. It looks like I got frustrated after that blunder, and then, or that mistake, and then I was running out of time. All right, so they attack. This isn't the best move, so now we capture, which is great. And this is a blunder. Oh, allowing the check. All right. So allowing the check there. So I probably should have just, I don't know, moved my, maybe move my rook to cover this, but yeah, maybe that would work. All right, another thing to look at in the analysis. So that was the blunder. Then they forked my king and my rook, not good at all. So then I have to give up my rook for their knight. And then we just hang in there. I guess I outplayed him in the end game. And it looks like here I'm pretty much losing again. So that was a mistake. Looks like, oh man, they're saying I should have pushed this pawn, and then they would just capture. Yeah, that doesn't look any better. So more things to look at in the analysis. So that was a mistake. They should have captured here. And if they would have captured, another thing to look at, because then if they capture, I would have to go here. And then it would really be hard to get down in front of these pawns. But then my opponent was running out of time so much at the end that became a factor. All right, and then here, now I'm winning. So, a lot to look at here when we do some analysis. So that was a great move. And then here they ran out of time here, I believe. Yeah, so my opponent just run out of time here. Because this pawn would promote, and maybe promote with a check if this king doesn't move, because the king would have to move here. We could push forward. If the king moves out, we just push up again, checking or threatening a check on the next move. If they push forward, we check, and then I don't know, we could harass the king with checks, but I think that queen would be enough to win, and that's what it says according to the computer here, almost +4. So definitely some things to look at. Let's go back to the analysis and dig a little bit deeper and see what we can really learn. And I encourage you to analyze your own games, especially if you play on chess.com, run them through the game review, and then dig deeper with computer analysis. So let's see what we can find. D4, D5, knight to C3 attacking the pawn, but it is protected. Here, you're just trying to put your knight here where it's a little more active instead of later putting it on D2. And after you set up the Jabava with this move, now we have the Jabava London opening, which, the computer here calls this the Queen's Pawn opening Chigorin variation. But today this is known as the Jabava London, after the Grandmaster, I believe his name is Badur Jabava, who maybe started playing this and came up with, some of the ideas. One being that you might try and move forward and target this pawn on C7. So a lot of times they will stop that. Here, you don't want to go here immediately and, try and fork. One, they could just block possibly, but there's a queen check, and then this would be unprotected. So the knight would probably just have to move back. All right, so here when they attack your central pawn on D4, you want to reinforce it. That way if they capture, you capture. And this is an important pawn here in the center. So you have to keep an eye on this pawn. And now another common move in the Jabava London is A6. To keep the knight out of B5, and stop this attack on the C7 square with the bishop. So my opponent plays, now it's my turn, and it says D takes C5 is the best move, and that's what I did there, so that's a book move. Now the recommendation looks like knight to C6 is what the computer likes the best, and that's what they played. But now they're saying queen to A5 was better. All right, well, we jump forward here. Now, should we have done that? Apparently, they like A3, A3 better to keep maybe the knight out of B4. And then it allows you to bring this bishop up here without the knight targeting it. So we have a pin. So this is another problem of bringing this knight up here, allowing it to be pinned. So the computer likes bishop to E2 best, which is what we did. And then after a capture, E6 is preferred by the computer because here, black gives up their bishop pair. So we take, they push forward. The computer says this is a great move, revealing an attack here. What do we do now? Well, maybe if we had this A3 move played earlier, we could possibly push forward, but I don't know. That could open up the queen side. So castling is best according to the computer, and then they capture the pawn. So now it looks like we're even in material. I have a half open D file. They have a half open C file. So here, knight to A4, immediately attacking the bishop. I looked at that move in the game, but I don't know, didn't really like that move. And apparently, according to the computer, that was best. So let's see what they say here. This was an inaccuracy, and yes, knight to A4. So, there's the common rules in chess, like, don't put your knights on the edge of the board because a knight on the rim is dim. But the more you play, you get a feeling for when it is best to break those common rules. So apparently knight to A4 would have been best. And then they recommend bishop to D6. Now I thought maybe they would play this move here, bishop back to A7, preventing me from going here with the knight and kind of just keeping that knight stuck on the edge of the board. But they like bishop to D6 best. All right, I'm not going to dig too deep into that. Let's continue with the game. H3 was played, an inaccuracy. Now the game swings over to black. So it's in favor of black after this move. I thought, well, I'll give my bishop an escape hatch. But it was better to attack instead of worrying about defense. So castling, and now the game is slightly back in white's favor. Bishop to D6 would have been better, trying to get rid of my bishop pair, which my opponent does that later. So now we retreat back, and this is probably a wasted move, an inaccuracy, and black has the edge again. It would have been better to just leave that there and knight to A4. So once again, they want this knight to A4 move. And then, maybe something like this. We capture, they get rid of the bishop pair, the queen ends up in the center. And now, oh, this is interesting. Now they recommend C4. Okay. C4, targeting this pawn, which can't be, my pawn can't be captured, or we grab the queen. So they recommend knight to E5, attacking. We move here, protecting the pawn, preventing the knight from moving forward in the future. And then they fortify the queen. So we should go ahead and capture. And here, and it looks like they're recommending to capture with the E pawn. I don't know. I would think maybe you'd want to capture with the knight so you don't have an isolated pawn. But sometimes the isolated queen pawn can be used for attack. It would open up the E file. It would allow this knight to jump forward, perhaps. Let's see what happens after we play this. Does the computer still like that move? No. Now it's saying instead we should attack the knight. Then we jump back here. Now the knight takes D5 move is what they think should be played. So we would go ahead and capture. Queen captures, and it looks like it would just turn into a series of exchanges. And now rook at A to D1 to fight for this open D file. Rook at A to D1. Now they're saying the F move would be better because we have to watch out that they don't take control of this file. So we go here. Now this is free to fight for the C file. But they would most likely double up Although now it's saying rook to c5 would have been better. Interesting. To just immediately start fighting for that. But anyway, you get the idea. There'd be a fight along these open files. So back to what happened in the game. We had this bishop retreat. This was kind of a wasted move. My opponent just develops this rook to the half open file, which is good, and the computer says that's best, and black has the edge here. So we retreat back, and apparently that's the best move. So I wasn't quite sure about that move, but the computer really likes that. I can prepare to push this forward. So now bishop to d6, black still has the edge, and the best thing to do is capture here. Queen captures, and now c4. Oh, once again, yeah, c4 would have been a better move. To just go ahead and attack black center. But I played a little defensively here with c3. c4 would have been better to play that immediately. I mean, I guess I was worried about leaving this open for the knight to jump in to my side of the board. So, yeah, c4 would have been better. Queen to c7 is the best move. They played knight to e5, attacking my bishop. So now, what would be best here? I played knight to d4. Computer says that's excellent, but knight to g3 would have been even better. Yeah, knight to g3 would have been able to cover this, I guess. So if I would have jumped here, I could have covered this e4 square that the knight could try and jump into. So, oh, they jump out that way. All right. So now rook protects, but better would have been queen up to c2. And I guess I didn't play that move because I was worried about being lined up on by the rook in case we exchange in the center here. All right, so the rook centralizes, creating a battery with the queen, and then I move my rook here to get it off of a potential future fork by this knight. But b3, chasing the knight, would have been better apparently. Huh. Okay. All right, moving on. They attack my knight. I was considering attacking their queen. That's what I ended up doing, but knight to b3 would have been better because then I could try and swing back and target his knight. So, yeah, I mean, this jumps up into his territory. But then I have to retreat at some point back to here. I don't know. It just... Okay, it says that's best. But black has the edge after this. So they attack my bishop. I attack, but would have been better to go there maybe. So bishop to g4 would have been better. They could have captured, and then what? Maybe I capture with my... Yeah, so then maybe I capture with my pawn, or we exchange queens, possibly. Anyway, back to the game here. What happened? So the queen comes forward, and I overlook this little tactic. And I still had 2 minutes and something, so this is an easy tactic to overlook. When you're targeting this, and it's protected, but they can capture here and pull your pawn away, leaving this undefended. So this is a mistake. Queen to d4 immediately would have been better. And then what? Then they recommend... retreating the queen. So... retreating the queen, where back to c7. And now it's saying e6 would have been better. So let's go back. Queen to e6. That helps keep an eye on this. It helps the queen could jump over here to the king side. And then what's recommended, to keep the game even, I would have to move my rook here. So, and this helps keep an eye on this pawn, adding pressure in the future. So now rook to d7, something like this. There'd be a fight for this backwards pawn here. All right, well, let's see, what can we do next here? Let's go back to the blunder of the game. Not a blunder, but a mistake. So capture, and then I followed up with another mistake with this. Apparently I should have played queen to d2. So queen to d2 attacking, but they could just target my knight here. Black would be up a free pawn. So let's see, it's recommending that. And now my best move is to go ahead and capture, although the computer is thinking now and doesn't like that so much. So instead, they recommend queen to g5. I don't know if I like that move. They could just trade down more material. The recommendation is g6 here, but what if, you can't capture because the knight's pinned to the queen, so they would have to play g6. Knight takes f5, queen takes f5, and looks like retreating our queen, because you don't want to give up more material when you're behind by a pawn. You want to try and trade off more pawns and keep your pieces. All right. The second mistake. So, the queen grabs my knight here, targets this pawn. I protect the pawn, although bishop to f1 might be a little bit better. And this blunder. So rook to d6 would have been best. Rook to d6, preparing to swing over here and target my king side. This game could have gotten could have been so much worse after those mistakes I made. All right, so if they do that, I should go bishop back to d1. Now that's f1, excuse me. They wanted d1. So bishop to d1. And now g6. Anyway, let's go back. Look at this blunder. So I capture this way, but apparently it would be better to capture away. Well, not to capture with this pawn towards the center in this position. So another time where the general rules of chess say that you should capture towards the center with your pawns, but sometimes you don't want to do that. I mean, this pawn's already in the center, but this keeps all my 4 pawns together. Although they have 4 pawns to 2 over on the king side. So here, what is best? b5. So at this point, the game would be much more even. So b5. And we have 6 pawns to 6 here. All right, so now rook to f1 is recommended. Rook to f1. So it likes that as being best. Rook to f1. Although a4 likes that move, we could try and attack. All right, back to the game. So the blunder is made by black here. So we capture towards the center. I thought, well, we'll keep this strong center, stop his pawn, try and fight for the open c file. But this allows the knight to jump in here. The other move would have allowed that as well. So now I have to figure out how to defend this. Apparently this was an inaccuracy, and rook to c5. Rook to c5 would have been better. Oh, I can't capture or he'll pick off my queen. So that would be a good move. And black would have the edge here. And now it's best to go king to h1 or bishop to d1. Interesting. All right, but we have, this possible threat of lining up here. If our bishop moves, we'll be protected, but then they could pick this off. So, we would probably have to let's play d1, see what they say about that. So they like that best. Then we threaten an attack here. It's not really a threat of attacking the g pawn, but the h pawn, because that could be captured, and then I can't recapture because of the pin to my king. So king to h1. Then what? Rook to f5, trying to... this would be a tough position here. All right, so back to the game. We had knight to d5. I attack here. So the rook moves to the best square. Rook to c6, getting ready to double up. So I attack. Apparently queen to f2, attacking the queen would be even better. So g6 is played in inaccuracy. It would have been better to immediately capture here. All right, so let's look at that. If they immediately captured, well then, oh, we don't want to capture this way. We would have to capture with the queen to continue guarding this pawn. Although now they like the rook capture better. But I don't know if I like that, because then this pawn would fall. Now they recommend g6 or knight back attacking here. Anyway, let's get back to the game. g6 was played. So g6, an inaccuracy. And we follow it up with another mistake here. All right, another mistake. What would have been best? To immediately capture. Then the pawn would have to capture. Then bishop to d1 or queen to f2, targeting the queen. So, maybe that would be better to immediately target, and the computer agrees. So we go here. Although now it doesn't like that. It's saying a queen retreat would have been better. Because then if we go here, we have a slight edge with the bishop. Because, well, let's look how many pawns. We have 6 versus 6. So we're even in material, but we have this extra, this bishop versus the knight when there are pawns on both sides of the board. But the game, or the move that would keep it even, is this. So here we guard, then rook where? To d6, guarding this pawn. Bishop to e2, attacking, threatening to attack the knight, drive it away. Oh, and we're covering this. If the knight jumps here, we can capture. So rook to f6 check. And now king to g1 is recommended, or g3, to keep this rook from infiltrating here. All right, so then a5, moving off of the light colored squares. All right, so back to the game. We had this mistake. They capture, I capture, and another mistake here. So rook to b6 would have been better. So if they play that, attacking, what should I do then? Well, b3 looks like that would be good. b3, but now, okay, it says that's best. They could play h5, gaining space on the king side, forcing me to retreat back. Although now it says bishop all the way to d1 would have been better. Okay. Huh. All right. Rook to f6 check. King back to g1. All right, let's look at what happened in the game and finish this up. So I capture, and it says that is a great move. I guess I just didn't follow it up correctly, and the game is almost even now. Black has a slight edge. B takes c6 would keep the edge. And then here we would have to play, rook to a1 to protect the pawn. And then once again, rook to d6, and it's kind of looking similar where they could jump over here with check. We would go here, rook to f6 check, king back to g1, a5, and now bishop to d1? Huh. Or rook to c1. I don't know if I like those. I mean, why wouldn't we just chase that knight away? That's probably what I would prefer, chasing the knight. Huh. I don't know, something like that. And it says that's an inaccuracy, that bishop to d1 would be better, because now we have knight to c2. Oh, and then they could capture this, so we definitely don't want to play that move. They could fork the pawn and the rook here. So rook to c1, or maybe bishop to d1, keeping this knight out. But then knight to d5. Oh, that's not so good. Yeah, this would have been tough. My opponent could have put up a better fight here, because after this move, what do we have? Okay, we can go after this. So if they capture, we capture, and we're attacking this, but it's protected. So rook to e6, attacking. Bishop to f3. Knight to f5, putting pressure on that. And we could just push forward, but they recommend bringing our rook over first. All right, so anyway, that is what we should have done instead of this. Now, they find this great move, and we're just in trouble after this. The game jumps to 3.77 in Black's favor here, so we attack the knight. Well, we have to move. We're not really doing anything to this knight. So they capture, going ahead in material here. We recapture, and it's almost 4-point advantage for Black at this point. So they attack my bishop. I retreat to the best square. We're targeting this pawn. So the pawn moves forward. And now, let's see, king to d2, although b3 may have been a better move. All right, we throw a check in there first. Then we bring our king over to protect the pawn. their king tries to jump forward here into the game. So remember, it's always important to bring your king into the action in the end game. So here, black is pretty much winning. So let's see where they go wrong. I push forward here. We're behind in material by this bishop versus a rook. So I want to trade off pawns because if we went into an end game and all the pawns were gone, then it would be hard for them to do anything with the rook versus the bishop. All right, so they push forward, but that does place this pawn on the light squares where my bishop could maybe target it in the future. So now, what should they have done? They should have captured. So it would have been better to capture there, because then that would have left me with an isolated pawn here being targeted by the rook. The rook could maybe swing over here and try and get into the game on an open file, which is probably what my opponent should have done to win, is to activate that rook. So let's see here. A takes b4 would have been better. Then of course we capture back, and then g5, start moving this pawn majority here, or rook to a8. That is the move that seems to be pretty dangerous. So if we go here, now it says g5 would have been better. But I don't know, this looks pretty dangerous. Here, the recommendation is to play h4. Okay, so they can't come down here and target us. But I don't know, this looks pretty dangerous here. And apparently, after this, black would be pretty much winning. So in the game, we had b4, they push forward. I push forward. Better would have been bishop to e2 to keep an eye on this side of the board as well. The king moving forward is an inaccuracy. King over to the center would have been better. All right, so I commit an inaccuracy as well. So bishop to e2 would have been better to try and keep an eye on things over here. All right, so here, king back up to f6, maybe start pushing these pawns forward. But in the game, the kings are kind of trying to activate over here. So that is not the best move. Oh, they like e1 a little bit better. I mean, I guess that leaves an opening for your bishop maybe. But either way, once they play this, which is the best move, now the best thing is king to f2. And here, rook to f8 would be better to line up on my king here, which could be dangerous. But instead, we have a capture, and f4 would have been the move to play. f4 is best, attacking, and then, if I recapture, we would have this passed pawn here, which would be very dangerous. So yeah, my opponent should have won. If there was more time, they probably would have. So a check, king blocks, but now our bishop is able to check. And then king retreats. So our king moves forward. So the king repositions back around. And king to e5 is best here. Interesting. But I don't know. I thought I had to go ahead and cover this pawn. I mean, I guess I could try and go over here and pick this off and help march this pawn forward. So that is not the best move there. Okay. Huh. All right. What would have been best? Instead of that move, king to e5. So let's take a look at this. If we have king to e5, now rook to h8. And then we have what? b5. b5 is best. Okay, b5. Rook to e8 check. King back to f4. Or king to d6, I would think, to help march this pawn forward. But then this is going to be dangerous. They could end up having a passed pawn if they break through here. Although now the computer's saying king to d6 would have been better. But now my advantage, or my losing position even got a little bit worse there. So they recommend capture, bishop captures, rook to b8, capture, rook to a8, bishop up to b5, or well, that's wrong, c6. So it says that's best, but then we have a capture. Yeah, and this just looks awful. Man, yeah, this is pretty terrible here. Yeah, it looks like I would just be losing after that. All right, let's finish this up. So I'm behind in material. I need to trade off pawns. So I push forward, they capture, I capture, they attack. King to f6 would have been better because now my king is able to move forward, but that was not best. Apparently, bishop to d1 is what they wanted. So, I don't know. That move is suspicious because that would allow the rook to infiltrate in and start picking off pawns. I mean, I guess by going here, I'd be able to pick this off. So we'll take a look. Bishop to d1. All right. What about that? Capture. What if we go there? They don't like that. They prefer king up to f6. So now, oh yeah, see, now we could just capture this, and then we would just be, the game would be about even. All right, so back to the game. We trade, they attack, I move forward, and then this exchange, ooh. Okay, so f4 would have been even better. f4. Oh, man. Yeah, f4 would have been brutal because if they played f4, then what? Man. The best thing to do would be bishop to e2. Yeah, we would just be losing at this point. Bishop to e2, and then rook to h2 attacking. Yeah, that would have been awful. Okay, so f4 at this point. f4. That would have been the move. Okay, but instead, what do? They capture. Best, of course, is to take. And now they play f4, which is a great move. So the best thing here is king to g4, no, d5. Let's look at this d5 move. d5, c takes d5, b5, then f3. Why not even just push forward? Why not even just capture here? So I don't know. I would think that you would want to do that. You know, then we go here. Then E2, B7, E1 queen, and B8 queen. But black has 2 extra pawns and a check, so not looking good at all. I think they would probably be able to win here. All right, so in the game, you know, and when the time is running low, I guess that's when all the mistakes occur. This was a miss. It would have been better to capture on E3. So this is what I thought they would play. Capture. So if they captured, oh man, king to G3 doesn't work apparently. King to G3, king to F6. You know, we have to go all the way down here. That would allow king over to E6. I don't know, I'd probably have to do that. Oh, but we're going to lose this. So, yeah, it's just ugly. We would be losing here. So, I don't know. I just got lucky that they played this. The time control, I guess, helped me. So, king to G3. Their king comes forward. And now the game's pretty much a draw. So, let's see where they made a mistake. All right. Now that was the mistake. They come forward here. So king to D5 would have been better. All right. King to D5. But in the game they make this mistake, and now what? Let's take a look here. The mistake, and we find the best move here. So, you know, what should they have done? King back up to D5 to stop this pawn, and then, you know, what do? We go here and block, and it would just be a draw. So after this move, we push forward. They capture, which is best, but then our pawn starts running. And this is where they ran out of time. All right, so let's see how the game could have continued on here. After this move, then what? They recommend king to C3. But, I mean, you would probably at least want to try, no matter what, it looks bad. I mean, if they go to king to C3, you try and get these pawns moving. So first, let's take a look at this. If they just capture, then what? Capture. We push forward. King, what? Over to B2. Actually, D4 is what they like best. All right, so if we go there, we get ready to promote. We have king over to C2, but then we promote to a queen. So that would have been ugly. If we go back in the game after this move, so here recommends just moving the king over. We keep trying to promote this pawn. D4, E takes D4, E3, b7. Then what? King to d3 maybe? Apparently it likes this move the best. But then that would just let me move forward here. So I don't know about that. Yeah, that just looks bad. So what if they go here? Then we just grab a queen. And if they try something like this, king to f1, they don't have time to move their king. They could check us, but then we just pick this off, and our queen will be able to come down here and help. All right, well, please leave comments if you have anything to say about this game or anything else. Like and subscribe if you haven't already to support the channel. Thank you for watching and have a super chess day.